when in reality, emotions are just information. It's the stories that we attach to the experiences and the constant spiraling thoughts about these things, usually with a negative connotation, that makes these things so difficult to handle.
Hello, and welcome to the Liminal Frequencies podcast, where we dive deep into healing frequencies from our ancestors, frequencies of the earth and stars, sound, color, and light, and all of the subtle ways that we can tap into our unique vibration to awaken the highest timeline and integrate the fullest expression of our being. Now let's dive in. Hello, beautiful beings. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Liminal Frequencies podcast. Today we are going deeper down the rabbit hole of the Akashic Records with Angel Marie, and this conversation gets more juicy as we tap into more information about the Akashic Records, about connecting with nature and our guides, and the process of going through addiction and reparenting yourself. This is an amazing conversation, and I can't wait to share it with you. Let's dive in.
After hearing Greg Braden talk about the Akashic Records, I didn't think a lot of it because, like I said, I wasn't spiritual at this point. I didn't really know about intuition or anything like that. And I, over the next few months, just kept randomly hearing Akashic Records out of nowhere. I'm like, I've literally never heard this in my entire life, and now all of a sudden it's here all the time. What is going on?
Speaking directly to you.
Yeah, and so early 2022, or like late 2021, early 2022, I was just scrolling on Facebook, and an ad for Amy's Akashic Record course comes up. And it's not even just the course, it's her, the master class is about it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, a free master class about it? I mean, I keep seeing it everywhere. Okay, screw it, I'll take it, you know? I'll join and see what happens. And like, I don't know, like it's just her, she's got such a light, loving, fun energy. So she just drew me in right away. And then as she's talking more and more about the Akash, it's just lighting more and more of my insides up.
Yeah.
And like, it's hard to explain, but I just felt in alignment with it. And I'm like, I was talking to my husband about it, and I'm like, babe, I don't know what this is. I don't know what's going on, but I just know that this is a part of me and my future. And I need to take this course. Like, this is just, there's just something going on. I can't tell you what it is because I don't know myself, and he was like, you know what, whatever, he supports me. He's like, if you feel like it's something that you need to do, then if you can figure it out, how we can afford it, go ahead. And so, that's what happened. I joined her course and was instantly enamored with the Akashic Records and the guardians of them and just this whole world, because that was my first spiritual course. And since then, I've had a whole smorgasbord, and there's a bunch that are just waiting on me as well. But I just trust the guidance, and it's beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah, what a gift to find a teacher that resonates with you, and that my experience with spirituality was that people took it so seriously that I couldn't get behind it. Like, I'm just kind of like, I want to have fun. And I found a teacher that made it fun and just made it light. And sometimes things get heavy and things get really deep. But with that, it's important to bring in the lightness and the light language and the singing. How has this shifted your career or your life? Or what have you noticed taking off or or parts of you that, are transforming?
Wow, that's a huge question.
Yeah.
I love it. So career-wise, I'm completely shifted. Like, I still have my dog daycare business, but it's not something that is my focus. Like, I have my handful of clients that are regulars, and I'm content with that. But thanks to Amy's course, there's a certification option, and you can become a practitioner. And so when I started the course, I had no intentions of doing that. I wanted to go for the certification just so that I, could have it. But I didn't know that it was going to become my business in the future, and that it was going to be something that I offered to others. And my guides, they're dropping like little hints here and there, saying like, hey, this is going to be bigger than you think it's going to be. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I'm ignoring you. Just because I don't know, I didn't trust myself, like something that is common with those, at least in my experience, that struggle with like emotional eating and that kind of addiction, is it's so self-destructive.
Yeah.
It is like a lot of other like forms of addiction. Yes, it is very self-destructive, but it's also externally destructive. And the thing with food addiction is it's accepted as a normal part of society, just because we've been so conditioned to believe that the majority of the food that's in the stores is actual food.
Most addictions are your smoking, drinking, caffeine, your phone, but most importantly, working.
Right. Yes. Oh my gosh. That one's a big one too.
Yeah.
And the thing too that's really difficult is to just not, well, I'll say, how should I say it this way? To not addiction hop.
Yeah.
That's one of the things too.
Do you have can you remember any things your guides have said to you about the eating, emotional eating, or like how to nourish yourself? Like, cause that's something that I've been also playing with a lot is the nourishment piece and getting nourished in all the ways, not just food.
Yeah. And that's a huge part of the program I was a part of for a while too, is it's about becoming the parent you didn't have.
Yeah.
For yourself and parenting your inner child, because it's all wounds. Yeah. It's all traumatic things that we haven't healed from. And, the thing with, and I'm just going to speak to emotional eating versus other addictions just because that's the one that I'm most familiar with. But it's all about suppressing the experiences that we're having because we don't feel capable of handling them. When in reality, emotions are just information. It's the stories that we attach to the experiences and the constant spiraling thoughts about these things, usually with a negative connotation, that makes these things so difficult to handle. When if we had just been able to sit with ourselves for the 90 seconds that an emotion requires, it would just flow.
Yes.
And it wouldn't be this big built up thing that we therefore feel we need to comfort ourselves for.
We fight it and then it fights us.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. And that's the thing that makes it difficult with these past lives and things like that, is because we have all of these emotions that we don't know where they even came from.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Which is a beautiful part of this work that, we get to not only for ourselves, but with others, take them back to these experiences so that they can understand on a whole level and heal lifetimes, timelines, dimensions, multidimensionally healing. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible. And I think it's the piece of validating that we do have so much resistance to the emotions that come up in our everyday life. And we have this toxic positivity that we're trying to always stay in a place of, being positive and having gratitude. Gratitude is such a beautiful thing to integrate and to have part of your life. But at the same time, there are ways that we, and especially spiritual people, try and get around those feelings that are coming up. And it's those feelings that kind of get lodged in parts of our body and create illness because we aren't able to process them. And sometimes all we really need is like a little sound frequency, like a little bite of some pitch that we hear, and then it moves through us, and that allows us to shift and grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then as far as your question about like advice about other things to support yourself. So of course there's meditation, there's going outside in nature. Like one of the things that I do every day that I'm home, sometimes I travel, so I can't bring my tree with me, but I have a tree out in my backyard, and there's this beautiful like eye, and it literally looks like an eye, and it's right on the trunk, right at my forehead level. It's like it knew I was going to move here.
Wow.
I mean, it did, I guess, but so every day I go out and I touch my forehead onto that eyeball just to connect my third eye with this tree, and we hug, and it's just, it's so filling. Like it just gives me that sense of unconditional love and belonging and oneness with nature, because we are nature.
Yeah.
And so like beautiful practices like that are so, so supportive. And
you can download that tree, you have that tree in your conscious awareness. And like when you're traveling, you can go visit the tree, that you do.
Yeah. Yeah, I do that. And then additionally, like depending on where I'm at, if it's like LA, it might be a little more difficult. But if I'm going on a walk, I talk to the trees, and I'm like, hey, I have one of you at home. That's my babe. Like,
yes.
And you can communicate with these beautiful beings, and
yes,
just share love and light with them. And
I want to talk about light language.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So when did that start for you, or has it always happened?
So in Amy's courses, she does some light language. And so that's where I was introduced to it. And she also has a course on it. I don't know if she's going to ever do it live again or not, but you can also just buy it as self-study in case anybody listening is interested. But she did it live once that I'm aware of, and I took it during that time. And it was just like little things that were opening up. I started to have symbols come forward, and then, she teaches the voice, so you can do vocal things and then movement. And then actually at the retreat where you and I met in June 2022, Amy, one of the times she was speaking up front, she said that one of the beautiful women that were at this retreat actually sings light language. And as soon as she said that, I don't know what it was exactly, but it came into my field like, hey, you're going to be singing light language. And I'm like, heck yeah, I am. I'm like, I don't know what that means, but I'm going to do it. And that was before I took the course. But so since taking that course, it definitely activated some things, but I wasn't super into it until probably about 6 to 8 months ago. And I can't think back to a specific incident that I could bring up, like this is what happened with light language, but it's over time. And especially
into your aura, and suddenly it came online,
Right. Yeah. And especially like the last 4 months or so, it's just kicked up into high gear. And so I've been creating different meditations and just various healings within, my other sessions, because I do Akashic Records and then Oracle cards and things like that. And so light language healing comes in just automatically at this point during all of that.
Yes.
And I've also been listening to other meditations and activations and things like that. So it's also been helping to heighten the frequency. And I noticed the higher my frequency, the more light language comes in. it's really fun.
Yes, I love it. It's beautiful. And what about like your own personal practice when you're meditating, when you're walking through nature? Is that something that comes through?
Yeah, I've actually sung light language to the tree.
Nice. I do to my cat as
Oh, I
well.
love that. Yeah, my dogs, they get some light language healing every now and then too.
And babies, like I sometimes they really understand, like they really respond to it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the animals, they are so connected. And it's so funny because this morning I was petting my dog and she was just looking at me, and then she was looking up around my head and looking back at me, and then over here around my head. I'm like, who are you looking at? It was so cute.
Yeah, that's amazing. And for me, I didn't know what it was. And I had people tell me that we would spend like the weekend at a hotel, or we'd be camping or something like that, or partners or friends, and they would say, hey, like you got up in the middle of the night, you sat straight up and you started just talking gibberish. And it started happening, like I would sneeze, and sneeze is such an overwhelming expression, I don't even know. And I would just have like information pour out after that sneeze, or yeah. And when I started to work with Amy and hear her express it, I just loved it. And I took the course, but it definitely activated it for me, and definitely kind of brought it full circle. But I noticed it would come up when I couldn't express the emotion. It was just such an incredibly profound, deep, soul-filled emotion that I had to use this other language, or a lot of times in the middle of the night, if I wake up, it'll come out, and it'll just be an experience for me of clearing something, like another tool of just clearing the energy, clearing the channel. And then we did a little exchange for the holidays. I had a recording on, I believe that one was about invoking our inner privacy protection, like protecting ourselves from the data mining and all of the factors around us, that if we create this protection, it will be there. We can manifest our own reality. And I shared that with you as part of the gift exchange. And then you shared with me your beautiful tuning fork transmission. And that was for the throat chakra. And you had some light language that you incorporated. And I feel like it found me, and the ability to, take a little bit of time to listen to it, like just at the right time. But yeah, your light language is very playful and sweet. And I enjoy that a lot. It's a very kindred spirit. You can speak light language. Yeah. I believe I had a partner that we would, in the middle of the night, he kind of did some of that too. And we would have, and I'd wake up like, well, I'm having a conversation, but I don't know what the conversation's about.
I love, so for those that may not know, light language is our soul language. Like dolphins, whales, they speak it.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's so cool. I love hearing them. So it's really funny that you bring that up, just because the beautiful thing, like not the beautiful thing, but one of the beautiful things about light language is, so I don't know if you experience this, but I can tend to get in my own way more than just about anything. And light language is a way for me to get past my mental body. Yeah. Because it just goes where it needs to go. It's intuitive. It doesn't need like you to really do anything with it. Just allow it to come through and be expressed, and it will heal beyond anything that I've personally had.
I'm visualizing that you were speaking light language to your mental body, like right here, like the third eye, like to help the third eye to clear and release something.
Yeah. Anytime I'm not feeling well, or I mean, it comes through on its own anyway. Like right now, there's even some that's like, "Hey, what's up? I'm here for
hey, like don't be shy. If it wants to come out, let it out."
It's so funny though, because like it's just I don't know if you experience this, but my mental body, she's really sassy. And she likes to attempt to understand everything, and she tries her hardest. And I'm just like, babe, this isn't meant for you to be understanding. It's just something that you can allow to help you. And she seems to be okay with that. She's still a little like grumpy about it, but
yeah. And for those of you who don't know, we have several bodies within us.
Yes.
And I explain this as there's something called in psychology called dissociative identity disorder, where you have such a powerful, profound emotion or energy or unprocessed trauma that you create your own family within you of different parts of you that have different temperature, different allergy preferences. It's just totally insane. And that's how we are able to cope and balance our system. But in actuality, we all have these different parts of us that we're meant to balance. So the emotional body, the mental body, the physical body, the ego, and the inner child, and the spiritual body as well. And that is a really wonderful practice for those of you listening, is just to check in with those guys and see who wants to speak loud and who doesn't want to speak at all. Sometimes there's parts of us, the inner child, sometimes people have a lot of trouble getting the inner child to open up because they've been neglected, and we don't reach out every day and say, hey, inner child, like we have an hour or 2 hours or something before we have to be where we need to be. Like, how do you want to spend that time? You know, you want to put on the 80s music and dance? Do you want to go crazy? Do you want to go outside and go for a walk? Like, and, you know, even like when we do therapies that are hard, when we have to take deep dives, like we need to give our inner child some credit afterwards. Take them for a walk, you know. Maybe it's not ice cream, but maybe it's something like really nourishing that they need to experience after that, so that, you know, maybe it's playing with sounds or playing with colors, and so that we can nourish all the parts of ourselves, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's actually something that's coming forward for me to work on a lot more, of course, within myself, but my clients. It's so funny because early this year I had quite a few downloads about different course materials and stuff that I'm going to be creating this year, and it's all about our inner bodies. And so I'm really excited about that. I have not started it yet. Well, that's not true, because I'm doing it in sessions already, because my guides are like, you need to start working on this. And so we're going to make you.
Hey, put it on your schedule.
Yep.
Yeah. And by the time this comes out, it'll probably be done, because I also have the thing of all the projects that I'm so excited about, and all the babies that I'm nurturing that I love.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. And something of that I find also difficult with, I shouldn't say difficult. With me, it pairs with the emotional eating stuff, is overdoing, overworking, and things like that. And I don't know a ton about this, so I'm just going to speak to what I do know. But within my own human design, I found out that I'm a projector. However, I work like I'm a generator, and that does not work for me. Which basically means, so like projector, typically you don't have as much energy as somebody like Amy, who just is a freaking Energizer bunny, and you know, she can do all that kind of stuff, but that is not how I operate. And I get to respect that. I get to find my way through that. And that goes for everybody. Like behind me, I don't know if there's going to be video on the podcast, but I have a painting project right behind me, and there's light language and tuning forks right next to me. So it's a matter
I know how it feels. I just love, I have so much passion for all of the things. And I feel like if there was a year where there's nothing else going on, I don't think I could get bored. Like, I feel like there's infinite things to explore, and that's the gift. I do remember on a call somebody saying, I'm a projector that's pretending they're a manifesting generator.
That was me.
I love it.
That's so funny. Yeah, I think it was in the self-mastery course.
It's so good to like acknowledge those things. Like, this isn't Akash related, but a friend of mine did a chart for me, and it showed me my Badza, my Chinese astrology, and it showed me that I have my home and my career and wealth all in one part of the like one corner, and in the opposite corner I have my relationships and this intuitive part of me. And it was showing me that like I'm always going to have to travel for relationships, for, you know, for work, for connecting with my intuition, for taking courses, and that's okay. Like, having one home base isn't realistic for me, and what's revealed to me more is like I actually have so much that I'm downloading and that I'm creating that I have to honor that. And having a person that I'm with all the time, that's not going to, you know, that's not going to serve. And so, you know, finding those parts of us, like our soul's code, and decoding them so that we realize that we are more where we need to be than we ever thought we were.
Yeah. Ooh, I got tingles on that one.
Little like goose pimples. Little truth. And somebody called them truth bumps.
Or truth bumps, yeah.
Yes.
That's funny. Oh, that's so great. I love that.
I love it. Wow, truth bumps indeed. And we really are decoding our soul, unraveling that code of light, using our light language, using whatever frequencies and tones that we choose to, and realizing that we are more where we need to be than we ever thought we were. I hope that resonates with you on all of the levels. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to sharing with you the third part of this series.